What is going on, guys? Eric from Bolts and Banter here with another product review video, and today we are going to be working on this 2019 Mercedes GLC 43 AMG, and we are going to be installing this VS1 from VIOFO that they were nice enough to send to us, and we're going to make it easy by using their HK5 Hardwire kit. And while we're at it, we are going to give their Bluetooth remote control a little test run. So we're working with this Mercedes, and nothing against Aukey. That's a great dash cam, but unfortunately it is very unsightly. The dash cam is more than a couple years old, so the suction cup is yellowing, looks really ugly from the outside, and it is not hardwired in. It is simply wired to the cigarette lighter, and it's robbing the car of a usable USB port for charging. So we are going to go over the entire installation process in this video, but before we do that, we're going to go inside and unbox the VS1 as well as the Hardwire kit and show you guys what additional things you're going to need to cleanly install this into your vehicle. Alright, we are back inside the garage. We are going to quickly unbox the VS1. It comes in nice packaging if you're concerned about that. I like this, kind of like an Apple box feel to it. Inside we have the camera itself. Again, this is the VS1. It is a 2K dash cam with a small form factor, and it mounts to the windshield using 3M VHP tape. So once this is stuck on, you can't remove it anymore. A lot of the VIOFO dash cams are similar in this format. They have a stick-on pad and a little pivot, and they all kind of look like this. I've installed older VIOFO dash cams that are slightly wider and slightly longer than this because they have an integrated screen. This one doesn't, so we are going to see what that looks like when we pair it with the app. For more information on the app, there's actually a QR code on the box itself for both the Google Play Store and the App Store. Aside from the camera, we have some documentation. This is important. Let's read this before installing. This seems to be some sort of anti-glare for the windshield. This is cool. There's videos and an actual manual online for those of you guys that don't want to read little pamphlets. We have a pick tool, most likely to remove panels to install the camera, an extra adhesive strip. This is really nice. I've installed cameras before, and sometimes it comes out crooked or you just don't like the position, so an extra one of these is nice so you can go ahead and have a second go at it. Here's the cabling that comes with it, and it also comes with a SD card. I'll be honest with you, I don't actually use any of the SD cards that come with the dash cams. I prefer a SanDisk SD card. We're going to give this a try upon initial startup, but realistically I'll be changing out to a SanDisk card. Wiring that you get a cigarette lighter plug as well as a USB-A to USB-C plug. It looks pretty standard, a standard 12-volt lighter. It's got two USB-A plugs on it, and it doesn't look like these are high current, or they're not labeled, so they're not blue. So they're just USB-A plugs, and then they plug into this USB-A wire, and then they plug into this USB-C, then plugs into the dash cam. I like these right angle USB-Cs. This provides a cleaner install. So just a little minor detail, not every dash cam is going to be like this. Not every dash cam comes with wiring, so if you are just installing this via your cigarette lighter, this is handy enough and should be good enough for the install. Like I said, we are not going to be using these wires. We are going to be using the HK5 Hardwire kit. So let's take a look at that. Over here we have the HK5 Hardwire kit, and the important details are actually just on the box. There is a parking recording function for the camera, so you have to set that up inside the camera before the first use. Then you will need two fuse taps for this, one for your accessory and one for the power cable, because if you want this camera to run all the time, you're going to need two separate 12-volt connections. So they say that right there, and it also tells you to test it prior to buttoning everything up. I've used this Hardwire dash cam kit before, and it's super easy to install. The only thing that you need to purchase other than this are the fuse taps, which will be specific to your car depending on what size fuse taps you'll need. and this takes 12 volts to your battery and converts it to the 5 volts that the camera needs. So that way you can hardwire this and you won't have the unsightly cigarette lighter adapter that's doing that job for you. So what we are going to do is show you the T-taps that you'll need. For the Mercedes, they are these size, the larger size fuse taps. So I am actually going to snip off the butt connectors and solder the power and the battery cable to this harness. That way it is a cleaner install. Depending on your install preferences, you can go ahead and just use butt connectors and it'll be faster and probably more simple than soldering, but I'd like a good solid connection. Again, all personal preference. I'm just going to snip those off. This harness is actually really simple to use. They have the accessory wire colored as yellow, and then the constant battery is red. Standard wiring colors, so super simple to use. If you've never wired one of these things before, it does not take very much effort to do so. Once you have that, you have the ground to connect, and it already comes with a terminal, so no need to crimp that. I really like how they're labeled. That way anyone else who is working on the car in the future that isn't you knows that these are just accessory and battery wires that lead up to the dash cam. Once we're done hooking those up, it's a simple USB-C connection to the dash cam itself, and again, I like how these are at a right angle so they're easier to tuck away, and you'll see once we have this installed, it'll be super clean, tucked up by the headliner. The last thing that we have is the Bluetooth remote control for the dash cam. Right away it comes with the battery, user manual is right there, and it looks just like any other Bluetooth clicker that you might buy, and it does come with a VHB adhesive strip, so you can mount this somewhere in the dashboard, maybe under the dash, by the push to start button, and then once you press that button it will save a particular moment to the SD card to make sure it doesn't get overwritten. All of that's covered in this tiny little user manual, and let's see if they provide a QR code as well. No, they don't. It shows you right here, features: with the Bluetooth remote control mounted in a convenient location on your dashboard, you can safely protect important videos from being overwritten without needing to take your eyes off the road. Super cool to do that, especially when you have a dash cam like this that doesn't have a screen, so you don't really know what's being recorded, and the memory card button over here might be far away from your driving position. So this is nice. Thank you, VIOFO, for sending this over along with the HK5 and VS1. Okay, guys, so we got the VIOFO VS1 Dash Cam bench tested. Shout out to Top Thun, by the way, for sending us this jump surge pack at a earlier date. And we use this in another video, and we use it around the garage to bench test stuff. Super cool. Link in the description to purchase one of these below. So we got all the settings done. It was actually really simple to scan the QR code on the box, download the app, and then I also use that in combination with the user manual to turn on the Wi-Fi and get the camera linked to my phone. Went through the settings. Again, we are going to wire this up with 2 wires for the park mode and the regular mode. However, in our settings initially, we did not turn the park mode on. We're going to wire it so that way we have the choice to turn it on in the future, but for now we are just going to test normal video recording. I also did plug in the VIOFO provided SD card. I'm not sure how they are bundling these dash cameras now on Amazon. However, in the manual it says that the SD card is an extra option. Anyway, I did install the SD card and it booted up just fine, recorded just fine. So again, we're going to use that for now, see how it is, and if necessary we'll install a SanDisk or other brand of SD card. Let's go ahead and start taking apart the Mercedes so we can install this wiring. Alright, so if you guys are watching this and you have a Mercedes GLC, we used 2 fuse taps here. One of them is for the yellow wire, which we tapped into fuse number 216, and then 206 is the fuse that we used for the constant battery power. That's going to allow us to use the parking mode on this VIOFO dash cam, which we are not going to set, but we wanted to connect that anyway, just in case we wanted to use that feature in the future. The ground bolt we used for the VIOFO wiring harness is just this bolt over here, and this is actually a bus bar for ground, so we checked this with a multimeter just to make sure that it is indeed a ground, and that is bare metal, so that's fine. We're going to put that one panel back that we removed and then tuck the rest of the wire into the weather strip. The wire is actually going underneath the airbag, so when it deploys it's not going to be an issue. And the last thing that we have to do is clean up the windshield over there. That way we can install the 3M VHB adhesive strip. Once that's done, we'll take away the old dash cam, we'll set this up with our phone, and then we're good to go. Alright guys, so we got the VIOFO VS1 installed into this 2019 Mercedes GLC 43. The installation was super simple. Like I said, it takes 2 fuses to make the VIOFO wiring harness work. One for constant 12 volts and one for switched accessory. Once you find the fuses for your particular application, it's super easy to install. Just use an addifuse on the constant 12 and use another addifuse on the switched accessory. Once that's done, all you got to do is hide the wiring to make a clean install, and that's exactly what we did here. We have the VIOFO dash cam on the right side of the car. Originally we had it on the left side, but I didn't like how the USB-C cable was going into the camera on the right side of the unit, so I wanted it to be clean. In order to get a clean wire routing here, it would actually hit this plastic piece, and I wasn't able to get the adhesive strip close enough to this plastic piece without obstructing the actual view of the camera. So after a little bit of back and forth, I decided to use the second adhesive strip that they give you and mount the camera here. Although it's not as close up and over to the rear view mirror, it's still a clean install, and when you're sitting from the driver's seat you can't really see the actual camera. Of course, with any hardwire install there's going to be a little wire showing, but that's relatively clean, and we just moved the Easy Pass transponder over a little bit so that way it's also out of sight, out of mind. With all of the accessories for the car that aren't from the factory over there, it's a lot easier to see, and none of this glass area is blocked from daily view. Going back to the actual camera itself, we are currently connected to it, and let's see if we can get a little preview here on the iPhone. Here's what it looks like. And it is very clear. This has a Sony sensor on it, which you guys can read about more on the product link below. I think it's definitely clear enough, definitely good for daily driving, and it has a speed sensor here, it's got GPS coordinates, and it has a timestamp and a date stamp. All important stuff if you are looking to use a dash cam for your protection on the road in the unfortunate event of a car accident or something along the lines where you have to have video footage. So I think that this is a very high quality sensor. Hopefully this lasts in terms of durability to exposure to the sun and harsh elements. This is a permanently mounted dash cam, so no matter how hot or how cold it gets, it's sticking onto the windshield and it's staying there. We're not taking it off for extreme heat. I do really like how everything was boxed together and how everything was offered in terms of a complete kit from VIOFO, including the SD card card, the installation wiring, and the camera itself. Everything I needed was in the VIOFO package, other than the add a fuse taps, which are going to vary from car to car. And after learning how to download the app and using the app for just a few minutes, it was really easy to set up the camera, connect it to my phone via Wi-Fi, and get this live view as well as the other settings on this menu here. Again, we wired the camera for always on capability, but we currently have that set to off. If that's something you're interested in, this camera can record in time lapse or in real time while the car is parked, and it has a parking sensor. That way, if the car is rocked back and forth, it will start recording. So we also got the Bluetooth remote hooked up to the camera. Really easy to pair these two, and this is really nice. So this can be left anywhere in your dash. You can stick it on your dashboard and you can click it to take a snapshot. And then once you do that, it will be available in the gallery that's over here. Last thing that we're gonna do before we button up the install and clean up the car is just go ahead and format the SD card. That's actually one of the first things that VIOFO says in the directions to do when you're setting up this dash cam.
Card format successful.
There we go. It just said that it's done. I really do like the voice assistance that the camera has. It takes the guesswork out of trying to read LEDs and understand what's actually going on, especially because this dash cam doesn't have a screen. So I like that. I like how it was easy to pair up with my phone, and I also like how it has a little mute button here, so you can press that and stop recording audio.
Disabled. Voice recording enabled.
That's really helpful if you are in the car, you talk a lot, and you want your conversations to be private, but you also want an extra set of eyes on the road. Anyway, all in all, this VIOFO dash cam is quite a good investment. I think for the size and the price and the clarity that you get, it's definitely worth taking a look at. There are many dash cams out on the market, but I do think that VIOFO does an excellent job of providing an Amazon Prime product that comes with all the accessories that you need to install it. So even if you're not a car enthusiast or a guy that's well versed with 12-volt wiring, this is super easy to install. Even if you're new to installing dash cams, this only took 3 wires to connect, and at the end of it all, it is a super clean install. I'm very happy with it. I'm gonna go take it out on the road to see what it looks like. Once I get it out on the road again, I'll report back and I'll comment down below on this video what my final thoughts are. But initial thoughts are this is definitely a worthwhile dash cam and a much better upgrade than the old dash cam that was just stuck to the windshield over there with the unsightly wire going down, taking a plug away from something else that we could charge. Alright guys, that does it for this video. I'm Eric from Bolts and Banter, and I hope you enjoyed this dash cam installation video. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like this video, comment on it, and consider subscribing to Bolts and Banter. And of course, check us out on Instagram at Bolts and Banter as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.